I don't. Okay, there we are. Technology is one of those things that, yeah. I don't. Okay, there we are. Technology is one of those things that you have to keep your fingers crossed and hope that it's working. But welcome, welcome, welcome to my very first Teaching Tip Tuesday of the new school year. For those of you all who don't know me, my name is Michelle, aka the Ignited Teacher, and what I do for you on Teaching Tip Tuesday is I help math teachers like yourself with evidence-based strategies to close learning gaps, with strategies that can be used as early as the next day. And I'm excited because I do not do Teaching Tip Tuesday during the summer for obvious reasons. For those of you all who don't know, I still am a teacher. I currently teach 8th grade math, but I have taught elementary, middle, and high school. And last year I taught Algebra 1, but I am not teaching Algebra 1 this year so that I can focus on getting my National Board certification. So I am excited about that and excited about what this new school year is going to bring. This year I have a very challenging group, not as in management wise, but definitely academic wise. So I'll be sharing, especially in my Facebook group, with you all just some things that I've been working with. And like this year, I know that I'll be using a lot of literacy strategies. I've been collaborating with the ELA teacher and really bringing in those literacy strategies, because I have noticed, even though this is week 2, that the literacy is very, very low for the students. I already have a lot of ELL kids. However, my African American children are struggling as well with literacy. And when I say literacy as it pertains to mathematics, I'm talking about the content portion, that drawing conclusions, making predictions, all of those things. So I'll be sharing that, and especially taking a deeper dive into those literacy strategies with my math intervention people as well. So thank you all for attending tonight. If you're watching the replay, drop where you're watching from, and you have any comments, drop in the comment section. If you're here live, tell me in the comment section where you all are watching from. I'd love to hear from you all. So if you cannot catch me live, and I have to always say this because life happens every day with us as teachers, you can always catch me on my YouTube channel, The Ignited Teacher. You can do a search. I am the only one on YouTube currently as the Ignited Teacher. And you can hop on over there. You can watch all the past Teaching Tip Tuesdays there. So if you're there, go ahead and hop on over there and subscribe to my channel. My channel is almost monetized, and I'm so excited about that because it has been a long journey. If you all don't know that monetizing a YouTube channel, you have to have 4,000 hours, which I'm currently at 3, and you have to have 1,000 subscribers, which I do have. So I'm on my way. So let's go ahead and dive on into this. So we're talking about classroom management for math teachers. And I used to have, I still do have a classroom management course, which I'll tell you about at the end. But I've made these management tips, especially for math teachers, because there are just different dynamics in a classroom for math teachers. We have manipulatives, we do projects, we just do different things. And sometimes it's hard to manage that. So I'm going to introduce you all to the 3 keys for managing a difficult classroom. So it is a blog on my blog post. And it's based on Marzano's idea of management. So we'll look at the first one. And if you want this link, I'll end up tweeting it out or putting it on Facebook. Appropriate level of dominance. Now, I know some people say dominance. Oh my God. Well, here's the thing with especially children from diverse backgrounds. A lot of our students are used to their parents following their parents' lead. A lot of them are not given a lot of choice. You know, what the parent says, do, that's what goes. And children from those backgrounds are used to that. So that's why I am not against choice boards. I'm against choice boards as they are implemented in schools. That's what I'm against, because the culture does not actually gel with the culture of the students, because you have to teach kids to make choices. And if they're not given that opportunity at home, when you have kids in small group and you wonder why everything is falling apart, because they are not used to choice boards, they have to have the appropriate level of dominance. So the idea of dominance in any classroom may give some negative feeling, and that's in the article, and you can read about that. And you have to have an appropriate level of cooperation. So you can't always put your thumb on the children and my way, my way. So the way that I balance that in my class is to get cooperation is that I listen to my students. Now, at the end of the day, it's my queendom. And I know people are going to not agree with that, but it is. It's my classroom. And I know some people are like, we're a classroom community. Absolutely. But I'm at the head. So I listen to my students. However, the last say so is mine. So when I listen to them, it helps them cooperate, because they're heard. They feel like they've been heard. But at the end of the day, I will explain, that certain things can't be done, and that's just it. So you have to have the dominance and the cooperation from the students. And then you have to have awareness of the high need students. They have 5 categories of high need students. The passive student that avoids dominance of others, aggressive, overpowers, dominates, harms or controls others without regard for their well-being, attention problems, monitor or attention difficulties. The perfectionist avoids the embarrassment and assumes shame of making mistakes, and socially inept, misinterprets nonverbal signs of others. So these are high need students as they see it, Marzano sees it. And I have to say that it's spot on, because I do see those kids in the classroom. I do. So how does these different categories of high need students affect your class? The passive student is going to sit and wait until you do the work, and then they're going to copy it. And you have aggressive people who answer all the questions, and it can be aggressive like mean aggressive, but it can be aggressive like they are just aggressive in every day. Like I have one boy, he's like, Miss Williams, I'm fast. Well, fast doesn't necessarily mean accurate. It just means that you got finished first. So socially inept, those are a lot of kids that we have to bring out. And sometimes those kids come out with, your projects. That's why projects are definitely important. But you can read the 3 keys for classroom management on my blog. So what I'm going to do is go into sharing how to determine routines and procedures for your classroom. Now, routines are definitely the what you do, and the procedures are how you want it to get done. For example, in my classroom, passing out materials. So I have 8th graders and we don't have desks, so we have tables. So what I did is I created table leaders for all of my kids. And the table leaders pass out journals, and it's kind of just, it's messy at first, but that's our routine. They have to pass out the composition books. They're in crates. I can't pass them out because I'm too busy taking attendance. So in this next section, this is a classroom routines and procedures planning worksheet that I use myself, and I use it in my classroom. So you have your grade level. Here's this 8th grade, and my subject is math, and the school year 22-23. So I just put some things in here that I thought would be helpful as far as thinking about routines, because the kids have to enter the classroom. We know that. So what do you want that to look like? So when my students enter the classroom, they have to stand outside the door. So your bullet point, stand outside of door. And the reason why I do that is because it lets me get a feel of the energy of the kids. If they're too up, some kids are going from another classroom, it gives them a time to settle and feel my energy. So once they are not all of them, but the majority of them there, I give them instructions as they are going into the classroom. So once they go into the classroom, they grab a pencil if needed. Oops, I can't spell. And table leaders pass out composition notebooks. So this is your routine, and this is your procedure. So when the kids did, the routine is when the students enter the classroom, that's the routine, and this is the how you want it done. And you can go through all of this as well. Passing out papers. When we pass out papers, table leaders pass out papers. Or you could say they'll be stacked on the shelf for the table leaders to pass out. So those different things you can do. It's still routine. How do you want the routine done? Now, I'm going to be honest with you. Consistency is key. If your your procedure is changing every day, you are going to have an out of control classroom. You are. So you have to stick to your routine. So if you have to change something up, let the children know ahead of time. So back to the list. Now, the most important thing is this. It's the transitions. Transitions are so important. And when I'm talking about transition, I'm talking about restroom, lunch, small group, etc. Transitions in and out of the classroom and transitions in the classroom. So for me, transition may be the lesson cycle. What I do is going from one thing to the next or activity to the next. How do you set that up? So the way that I set it up is I announce it. I announce, hey kids, so now it's your turn to practice with the problem solving job. You're going to practice with a part. So I set them up to let them know what is actually going to take place, so they know the expectation. So I tell them to push whatever they were doing to the side, or I have kids get up and pass the things out. So you have to really set your kids up for success. And if you know that transitions are one of those things you get dinged on in your evaluation, definitely look at how other people are doing it, how they are setting their kids up to get them to transition quickly. Because transitions are the one thing they'll say that you're wasting instructional time on whatever it is on the evaluation, but that's in essence what it means. You wasted instructional time. Transitions should be quick and seamless. And if you're going to focus on anything, this is what I will focus on. Transition. How do you want that? So for me, when my kids, we're about to go to lunch, or some days I have second period off, some days I have the last period off. But when they're about to transition for another class period, I try to make sure I end 5 minutes early so that we can have everything cleaned up and they're not scrambling. You have to monitor your time. You do. You just have to monitor it. And that's just one of these things. The next one is homework. And then you have to have a behavior management plan. My behavior management plan I call it behavior ladder. So my behavior ladder starts with, hey, I'm going to give you a verbal warning. Then I have my students sign a behavior log. If you don't know, kids, they don't like to put their names on anything, especially when it's a document saying that you were misbehaving in class. And my kids don't like that. So I know they don't like it. So generally when I say you're going to check, you're going to have to sign my behavior log, it really generally stops depending on the student, because they don't like to put their handwriting on anything. And if you want a copy of that behavior log, I have it for free, and a parent contact log on my website. So let me go ahead and recap. Now, the first thing that I talked about is you have to have a level of dominance and cooperation, especially if you're working in a school where the kids' culture at home is where it's dominance. You can't say, oh, I'm going to let my kids have all this free time. No, because the children are not used to that. You're going to have management issues. So if that is not your experience, I definitely recommend that you should sit down and look at how you can structure your class in a way where there is structure all the time. Because high need kids, high structure. So without the structure, they are going to be everywhere, especially if you're going to bring out manipulatives, because the kids are going to play with them. I know some people say, well, let the kids play with it. No, my kids don't play with manipulatives, because that, you know what, it cements in their head that they're playing. No, manipulatives are for learning. Tomorrow we are going into equations. I'm bringing out my hands-on equation kit. Lord bless me, because I promise you, I already know I'm going to have to take somebody's kid away from them because they're going to play with it. I already know that. So anticipate what you're going to do with that. The second thing is make sure you map out your routines and procedures. Routines are what you're doing. The procedures are how you're doing it. So don't get those mixed up. Make sure the how is something that's doable. And you may have to change it. I'm not going to lie. I've had to change my how for passing out things because it was very cumbersome. And I just let the kids know that we're going to change it and that we're going to insert this little thing to make it run smoother. And the last thing is to make sure you don't have any downtime and your transitions are tight. Because like I said, transitions and that take too long, you will get dinged on your evaluation system, especially if you're working with manipulatives and you're getting evaluated. So that's a little tip that I give out to teachers because I used to evaluate teachers as a master teacher. And you can't take a long time. So with that said, I'm going to invite you all to, if you need some help with classroom management, you can join my Managing Difficult Classrooms course. It's $97 for lifetime access, and it has these actual tips in here, and I'm going to drop the link in the comment section for you all, that those of you all who need it, because I generally promote it at this time because sometimes it's difficult. You know, when I've had difficult classrooms, I've had to do things differently, and that goes from year to year. So I'm going to show you all what's in the classroom if you are interested. So only thing that I've changed in here is I do not have a community. The private Facebook group, I don't really, and I might start it back up depending on if people join. How do you manage cell phones? Do you take the phone? Yes, I do. I warn my kids, and I'm gonna be honest with you, with cell phones, I don't want to take the kids' phones. I don't. And for me, the cell phones, you know, I warn them, and it's a respect thing for them. I don't, you know, browbeat them with it, but I do let them know because our school charges for the phone. I take them and turn them in, and that generally is enough for them. But if you don't, I'm gonna be honest with you, you're gonna have to build a rapport. I showed my kids the Columbine videos, and we talked about shootings in schools to make them respect cell phones. Because like I told them, I said, if something happens, God forbid something happens at the school and you're stuck in the hallway, who you gonna call? How we gonna, you know what I'm saying? So that kind of helped them respect having a cell phone. So in this course, it covers, let me see, Module 1, Making Connections. Module 2, Barriers to Building Relationships. Module 3, Managing Student Behavior. Module 4 is Classroom Routines and Procedures. And Module 5 is Student Engagement and Discipline. So if you're interested in that, I'm going to drop that in the link, the section. Let me go ahead and drop that in there on Facebook. And let's see. So if you enjoyed this, definitely go and hop on over to YouTube and subscribe. I had a brain freeze. Subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you won't miss any Teaching Tip Tuesday. I do live stream to Twitter and to Facebook, but you know, that's always a moving feed. And if you can't catch me on Teach Tip Tuesday Live, you can definitely catch me on YouTube. So if you have any other questions, just drop in the comment section if you're watching on a replay. And I'll see y'all next week for another episode of Teaching Tip Tuesday. Bye-bye.